Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of GameSpot Gameplay. I'm your host, Kevin VanOrd, and that just took me off guard for some reason. We're still new to this whole we're doing it by video thing and doing it live and all that stuff. And will you be able to bring up a Twitch thing for me, by the way, so I can see the chat? I should have asked about that. I got the computer. Oh, okay, I have a computer. I'll do it on the computer. Hi, everybody. It's episode 59 of GameSpot Gameplay, and I'm your host, Kevin VanOrd. And I am here in the studio. That's Jan Air right there, and he's helping me do the switching so that you can actually see us. But I'm also joined by two other excellent people. One of them is Tom McShay. Say hi, Tom.
Hey, Kevin. I wore my shirt correctly today.
Oh, yeah.
What?
Tom's shirt was on Inside Out last week.
No. Oh, yeah.
Was it?
Yeah. I think that's what it was.
Did
it was backwards.
Did somebody notice that, or did you notice it later?
I don't know what you asked, but yes.
Okay.
So it's a good day for me. It's a good day.
Congratulations. It's hard not to win when you have a collared shirt, though, right? Typically, you know immediately.
I've seen a lot of people convicted of crimes wearing a collared shirt.
Huh.
Tom goes to prison trials a lot.
I do.
I'm not sure if you're aware of the difference between causation and correlation.
I like the term prison trials.
Have you ever gone to a prison trial?
Those are the best ones.
It's where two prisons fight against each other in a trial to see who's the best prison.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Tom, you're joined by Sean McInnes, obviously.
He's on my team. Is he on my team?
No, he's not on your team.
A team. And then Kevin.
And then I'm my own team. No, you're.
And then the ghost of Chris Waters.
You're individuals. See, I don't remember. I could have sworn I asked Chris to be on, but then he wasn't around. And then I thought maybe I didn't ask Chris, and I just thought I did. So if a third person wants to just show up,
do you want me to call Peter or Maxwell?
Should
I call them live on the podcast?
That would be fun. Yes, do that.
All right.
And
this is gonna be great. Hold on, everybody.
Yeah. Okay, we're holding on.
We're gonna do a live.
Is this really happening?
This is really happening. In the meanwhile, I'm going to bring up Twitch. So if you want to interact with us, you can.
Are you showing their phone numbers? Did you show you their phone numbers?
No, it just says name, right?
Wait, Peter.
I can't believe we're doing this.
I'm calling Peter.
I'm pretty sure you just showed their phone number.
No.
No, just the name? Yeah, I'm pretty sure we just saw that.
My phone says the phone number, I guess.
It's ringing.
I know. We can hear it.
All right. Yeah, it's ringing.
It's ringing.
But Peter may not be. I can't believe we're doing this. This is the strangest thing we've ever. We've done a lot of strange things on this podcast.
I don't think he's gonna pick up.
Why don't you just text them? That takes up less time for the viewing audience who are here because they care about what we have to say. And
I'm gonna leave a message for Peter.
So on. Okay. By the way, if you are watching on Twitch,
hey Peter, it's Sean. I was just calling to see, how's it going? See what's new. It's been a long time since we talked. I may or may not be live on the podcast right now, and we're a man down. So I was just seeing, you don't have to be on the podcast, but it would be great if you were on the podcast. Also, Tom wants to say hi. Tom, say hi.
I'm not here. I'm not. Hi, Peter.
It's a message.
I miss your beard.
Peter, we miss your beard. All right, bye.
Okay, well that's that.
We can only go up from here.
We've had the first question coming from the Twitch chat, by the way, which is where is Cam?
Cam is in a different.
Not Ham.
He's like sleeping now. What time do people go to sleep in England?
We're in the United States.
4 p.m.
He's sleeping now.
I think he's sleeping. It's not 4 p.m. by the way.
It's 11.
Is it? Yeah, it's something like that. Whatever. Let's move on
and tea and then go to sleep.
Let's move on and talk about games. I really did have this set up to be you guys and Chris on like every man for himself. So we'll just work this in the best way we can. So I'm going to start with Tom anyway. So Tom,
Sean keeps looking at me.
Sean just has. Why are you looking at Tom?
Oh, because I'm looking at you, and Tom is in my peripheral vision, and he keeps distracting.
Is that how it works?
Yeah. This is live, by the way.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Yes,
this is a live podcast.
So let's start by talking about some games that were announced.
Okay.
And I wanted to start with. Well, I'm going to read.
You want to talk about Get Even?
We can. But you don't know anything about that, so I decided to skip to something else. So I'm going to give you a description of a game that was recently released, and you tell me...
Released or announced?
Or announced. I'm sorry. My bad.
Is it Get Even?
I can't speak. It's not Get Even. No.
Is that hot new math game where you take two numbers and add them together and hope that they're even numbers?
Well, see, you're at least right half the time, which is good. No, let's start with this description, okay?
Okay.
So here we go. The story features a woman named Amanda who is sent to a remote trading station. The visuals are sharp, being suitably dark and moody. There's even a fuzzy VHS-like grain to get the nostalgia juices flowing. Objects from the station's missing crew litter
I
each
once
room.
had a problem with my nostalgia juices, and I went to the doctor. He sorted it right out.
Good.
Are the visuals photorealistic?
No, you're still talking
Is
about the
it-
other game.
Kevin, is it Get Even?
No! With a toy robot's random musings providing a brief respite from the horror. What game are we talking about? Horror, remote station.
Is it Chibi Robo?
No!
Photo Finder?
You know what I'm talking about. Why are you trolling me?
I actually don't know what you're talking about.
This is Alien
Is it Alien Isolation?
Isolation, yes.
Oh.
Yes. So
Wait.
the very fine Mark, what's Mark's last name again? I'm a mess
Mark.
today. Yes, our
Mark Walton.
GameSpot's own Mark Walton
Marky
wrote a
Mark.
fine preview of Alien Isolation, which actually sounds perhaps like the Alien game we want. Tom, you have strong feelings about Alien games.
I did a video
You
of
did a
them.
video of them, and why haven't we had a good Alien game yet?
We haven't because developers or publishers just put alien skin on other types of shooters that we play, and that's not how you make an Alien game. I guess it could be good. I don't know much about it except it's made by the Total War dudes.
And they've made great games outside of Total War.
No, they have
Like
not.
Viking,
That's my problem.
Viking?
My worry.
great Viking game.
Some people.
Well, Total War is all about atmosphere. It's all about tension. It's all about Ripley's daughter.
Total War
So,
that's perfect. Yeah, no, that is.
like, this fits in right into what they do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I don't
that's when I think creative assembly, I think of tension and.
So Sean has this thing he
Darkness.
does where I get excited for something, and then he's like, "Don't get excited because of this." Like he likes this. He doesn't want my hopes to be dashed.
Yeah.
Whereas I like to get my hopes up, but I'm not gonna get my hopes up for this because just Alien games are just always bad for me.
Yeah, but it sounds like you're trying to escape the clutches of one single xenomorph, right?
Yeah, that sounds.
You know,
it sounds
and,
really
cool.
cool.
You're weaponless, and it sounds scary. It sounds the complete opposite of, say,
You were
Colonial
scared just reading the
Marines.
words, which is kind of
I'm scared right now.
No, but that was just because of the comma splices, not because of
Okay.
the actual game.
splicing.
So,
I don't.
yeah.
It's just like this is just a damaged IP. And then you need something like when GoldenEye resurrected Bond for that little stretch. Like you need like that kind of game to make me have faith in the IP because every developer just sucks at Alien games.
for the most part, I mean, we had the great Monolith,
Oh, yeah.
AVP2 back in the day,
Like 15
you know.
years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
but
true.
so it's been a while since we've had a great Alien game. Although that one on the DS was pretty good, right?
Yeah, I never played that one, Infestation, and
Yeah, that's
that's
the one.
totally a Tom game, so I should probably play that.
Yeah, you should probably play that. What are you playing, by the way, right now? Like just for fun or for whatever?
What are you playing, Tom?
What are you
yeah,
playing?
this is a detour.
Yeah, it's a detour.
I'm playing-
I'm allowed to talk.
I'm playing
whatever. It's our
Spelunky and
podcast.
Terraria Vita for fun because those games are fun. But then I'm also playing. What am I playing for review?
Danganronpa. Rampa.
I'm playing Danganronpa for
Am I
review.
pronouncing that right?
And it's a game that I also am playing for fun because I don't want to stop playing it.
There's no embargo, by the way, on talking about Danganronpa,
Oh.
so you can say what you want, just to give you an idea. Like the game's not out
This
yet.
is a
but there's
real
no-
detour. So it's Virtue's Last Reward combined with Phoenix
Hey.
Wright,
Hi.
I guess.
So sorry.
Did I invite you, or was it I couldn't remember if I invited you or if I just forgot.
I don't know, Kevin, but here I am.
Which one
Chris
are you?
is here.
That's Mike 2,
This
I
is
think.
dumb.
Oh, Chris showing up?
Chris,
Yes.
Chris
Especially
talking to the
after
mic, and let's see
I
if you're
left
there.
a really awkward voicemail for Peter.
Did you?
What if Peter
Hey, Jen.
shows up?
How's it going there, buddy?
Yeah, we got you.
Oh, cool.
All right,
cool.
welcome, Chris.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming.
So
I
sorry
could-
I'm late. Sorry.
No,
I'm
I
late.
couldn't remember if I asked you to come or if it was my imagination, and then you weren't around, so I was like, oh, maybe I just remembered this wrong. It happens. I'm 41.
We'll call it one of history's mysteries.
Good, good. Also,
I think that like the best way to integrate someone in the middle of a podcast is to do it as like loudly and like unsmooth as possible.
Yeah.
So everything gets derailed
Would
and
you
everybody's
prefer
lost.
that Chris suddenly like chime in, like
Well-
stealthily out of nowhere?
Let's try it again.
I think it works
All
better.
right, okay. Here's what we're continuing this
God.
conversation. So
Okay.
alien games are really cool because they have aliens then in them, and this is our conversation that we're having right now.
And then I'd be like, "Hey, Chris,
And
what do
then-
you think about alien games?"
Oh man, if only they'd make a good one, right?
Oh,
See?
Jeez, there's
Nailed
so
it.
much potential there.
It works. It
Nailed
works a
it.
lot better, I guess. I don't know. We don't have to talk about. Did I text you? Just get things going.
Good job, guys. I'm glad that we could seamlessly get Chris
No,
into
no,
the
go,
mix.
just go with the podcast.
Oh, so sorry. Okay,
No,
so
don't
anyway,
acknowledge it, Kevin.
Jeez.
Never-
Talking about alien
never-
isolation.
God damn it!
Yeah.
Don't. First rule of GameSpot gameplay. So anyway, talking about what were we talking about?
Don't address
We
the
were talking
I was
about
talking about
what you were
Danganronpa.
playing, Danganronpa.
which is actually a pretty awesome combination of Phoenix Wright and Virtue's Last
And
Reward.
Virtue's Last Reward.
But
Okay.
we'll move on to something else. That was a weird
And the
detour
actual
anyway.
title of it is
Don't go romper.
Dangiropos.
Dango Rampa. And then Trigger Happy Havoc. I know that part. But whatever. It's good and it's coming out February 11th.
Tom does seem to be amused when he plays it.
It's
Which is-
really good.
That's the same day as Lightning Returns. I
It's the
think.
best game coming out February 11th for sure.
Man, trolling Final Fantasy.
No, this game's legitimately really awesome for someone who likes visual novels like I do.
Right. So
there you go.
there were other games that were recently announced too. Another, I'll read some of the information and you can tell me what you think it is. This is still Tom's round, by the way, but feel free to jump in. How about this? The game aims to blur the line between single and multiplayer and offer photorealistic visuals.
Does it get even?
The story focuses on the memories of its main heroes. These memories will have a dramatic, in quotes, effect on how the game plays out, and the decisions players make on their journey will determine their personality.
Kevin, I know everything about Get Even, but I'm gonna quiz you.
Okay.
So who's making this? What systems are coming out for? Just basic things that I know.
Farm 51 is the developer of Get Even.
And who's Far 51?
They're made up of people that made Painkiller and
Okay.
the such.
I know.
okay.
I kind of know Painkiller. So what systems is it coming out for? The next current gen and minus Wii U plus PC?
For some reason, I'm
And the
thinking
DS.
that this is that this
Not the
is
3DS.
The
PC.
Nintendo disc.
Nintendo
But
DS.
There's
I'm
no-
not PC and next gen stuff. Yeah, I
Minus
know it's
Wii U.
PC at least, but then I'd forgotten what consoles it's coming to.
And is it this year?
It is 2015 downloadable.
Downloadable.
That's a
downloadable,
long ways off.
supposedly. It is a long ways off.
Are we excited about this?
I think maybe. What, Chris? Are you excited? You like shooters and the such?
I just heard
Have you
about
heard
it.
of this game?
Confused. Have we even talked about what the game title is?
Get
yet?
Even.
Get
yeah.
Even.
Okay.
Yes.
I thought I didn't get the affirmative off of Sean. No,
Oh,
I've never
sorry.
Heard of it. I have not.
Yeah.
Okay, see, that's
I
this
heard
whole
about it 10
table.
minutes ago.
This whole table has never heard of Get Even.
Yep.
But Kevin has been touting it for like 3 minutes now.
Kevin's plugged into the zeitgeist is why.
He
don't-
is.
Not like us.
I don't know.
Oh man.
Maybe it's just because I like Painkiller and I like those developers. Because then people that made Painkiller then went on to make what was that single player shooter that I reviewed that had all the cool weapons in it and
Singularity.
no, it wasn't
was Raven.
Singularity. It was the
Halo?
pretty
Bulletstorm?
No,
Was
forget
it
it. It was a
Half-Life 2?
downloadable. I forget the name of it. Somebody in the chat
Ragnarok?
help me with Ragnarok.
Wait, no, what was that?
Help me with that
Apocalypse one
single
was
player
terrible?
sci-fi
Was it Get Even?
game. No, it's not Get Even. My brain's just a mess today.
So I guess the trend for the current gen is let to blur the line between multiplayer and single player.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
Destiny.
which is funny because
Crew.
certain developer with From Software, they totally nailed that like 2009. So way to catch up to the party, guys.
Right. So Demon Souls nailed that in one way, but this
No,
isn't
I'm
like
just-
a monolithic thing you can nail. This is like
No,
if
I'm
you're
just-
breaking down the barrier between single and multiplayer.
Oh, yeah.
It's it's opening up an entire new field of possibility.
I'm just saying, like, since 2009, a lot of every developer had a chance. Like, hey, let's. What if we tried something like this hugely successful, critically acclaimed, and like, now they're doing it. I guess 5 years
well,
later.
now
but
you're
it's
like a development cycle later.
it's
well,
I don't know. It doesn't. It feels like I'm excited for it, but also feels like let's catch in on the latest trend as opposed to we organically came with us because it fits the game we're making.
I think it's also down to the technology and the spread of broadband internet because even for, right now, the internet saturation in the world is less than it will be 6 months from now, a year from now.
Yeah.
From when Demon Souls came out to now, and especially with the new consoles, the Xbox One and the PS4 are so dedicated to being online. I think developers now, are more than ever are like banking on multiplayer connectivity in a way that, they definitely did towards the end of the last generation of consoles. But I think the whole launching with, connectivity in mind, with, streaming, with downloaded stuff, with the the hardware itself emphasizing always being connected.
Yeah.
Sort of the a multiplayer, a game experience that relies on always being connected seems more palatable or more.
See, this
like,
almost seems like to
viable.
me, because developers want to make or at least publishers do, because then you don't return it to GameStop right away. But then they also have to make single player, which is a huge pain in the ass, because then you have to make 2 separate games. And this is just kind of a way to go like, what if we just make the whole thing multiplayer, and then we can make it seamlessly, and then they don't like then everybody's happy.
Well, how many times why does Battlefield have a single player campaign? Would it be better without? Would it be fine without it? Yes. Why does some game that has tacked on BioShock 2? No, that was actually good multiplayer. Why do games have tacked on multiplayer? Why do games have tacked on single player? It's because of this idea that those are 2 monolithic pillars.
Yeah.
Both need to be appeased. But I don't think that's the case anymore. You don't need to have that, and I think that knocking those down and trying to like disabuse the industry of that notion is a good thing.
So when you say anymore, you're talking about since 2009.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
We're pinning that on the timeline as when.
It's when we decided
Demon's
like
Souls broke the single player multiplayer dichotomy. It's over.
Yeah.
And now it's just trickling out into the rest of video.
And now every developer's like, what if we just do what they did a million years ago?
But I think also part of this, I mean, look at what happened with SimCity and a lot of other games where there's this attempt to bring single player and multiplayer together in ways that seem like thinly veiled attempts to sort of make copyright protection and make that kind of thing, palatable.
Like not motivated by game design, but motivated by other external
Right. Do you
factors.
suppose
we don't want you to return to GameStop. We don't want you to pirate the game.
Do you suppose that DRM is actually a factor in why the games that are being made are what's being made?
We're cynical today.
Yeah, we are cynical.
I don't know. I get that's always gonna play in, but I don't know.
Yeah, a lot of publishers, that they take huge financial hits and they makes their businesses less viable because of piracy, and I think that is definitely a motivating factor for a lot of people, a lot of studios.
Yeah, but I mean, to me, this is just taking advantage of something, a relatively new idea, and of course, game design follows trends, right? And so we're seeing this current trend, but it's actually not that new of a trend. I mean, Tom brought up Demon's Souls, obviously, but there are other examples.
Because it's a day that ends in Y.
We saw an example.
Well, I usually talk about Dark Souls.
I'm getting a phone call from Peter Brown. I need to answer this.
Okay,
hey,
hang
Peter
on.
Brown. I called you when it looked like Chris wasn't going to be on the podcast, but he showed up.
Hooray for everybody. This is the worst. Is this worse than my entrance?
He's okay. He's fine.
You didn't even put him on speakerphone?
I'm not going to do that to Peter. I'm not going to put him on speakerphone. Do you want to say hi on the podcast, Peter?
Oh, this is the worst.
Oh, this is weird.
All right, hold on.
Ladies and gentlemen.
This is weird. Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Brown.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen.
We have a caller.
We have a caller. It's Peter Brown.
We have a caller, yeah.
Peter Brown.
Hey.
Are you calling from the technological future?
We're talking
we have to
about
stop this.
single-player, multiplayer games blurring the line. What's your take on that trend, Peter?
Single-player, multiplayer games?
Yeah. Single-player, multiplayer games.
Like Destiny.
I've never heard of that before.
Like Destiny and The Division. Did they all rip off Demon's Souls, yes or no?
I'm going to go with maybe.
Okay, taking
Solid
a firm
answer.
stance. Firm stance Brown.
Non-committal Brown.
All right.
Big gulps, huh?
All right, cool. All right,
See
Peter.
you later.
This has been wonderful. Thank you guys so much for having me on.
You're welcome.
That was great.
Talk later.
That was great. Let's move on now, shall we?
That was Peter Brown.
That was Peter Brown, yeah. So, Tom, I have a quiz for you.
By the
all right?
way, Need for Speed does this, and it's awesome.
Oh, Need for Speed does it too. My problem with Need for Speed, and we've talked
Well,
about
everything
this.
other than the driving's not
The
that
driving in Need for Speed is awesome,
good. But everything else is not that great.
it does get, every attempt to tell a story and that kind of thing, it's like, don't even do that.
Yeah.
But then for me, the bigger problem is that ultimately it's such a simple game in terms of the general pacing and the general ebb and flow that it doesn't really do a whole lot that's different from the beginning all the way through. So that's my big problem, is that it gets a little stagnant, but it's just so much fun at its core.
Yes.
But
that's why I'm looking forward to the crew now. Of course, the crew would have to actually drive as well as Need for Speed for me to play it, but that's why I'm interested in it.
I feel like the chances of that game actually feeling as good as Need for Speed
0%.
is
It's exactly
Probably
0%.
relatively low,
0%,
but-
there's no chance.
Need for Speed is made by the X Criterion people who have like been doing this for 12 years and kind of mastered it.
yeah,
And 0% seems a little high.
What about the crew team? What have they been doing for the past 12 years?
I don't know.
They made Test Drive Unlimited and Driver games.
Then that's a strike against them as far as the. No, I like those games as overall.
It's not quite the same pedigree.
Test Drive
It's not the same
Unlimited
pedigree.
doesn't feel as good, doesn't feel good at all to drive in those
No.
games for me. So, but anyway, so we talked about a little bit about the upcoming Aliens game.
Yeah.
So I thought I would make this week's audio quiz your quiz. By the way, you're all Chris.
Is it still
just
Tom
to
who's playing?
remind you of something you already knew since you've been here since the beginning.
Yes.
Is that this is a free for all? There are no teams, so each
Awesome.
one of you have your own round. So
you
I
say
really
it's a fight
liked
to
it
the
when you
death?
announced that at the beginning of the podcast. I was like, yeah.
I like that part too. So Tom, this week the audio quiz is yours, but if you don't get it, then I will throw this out to
You say
as a
audio?
free for all. The audio.
Okay.
So yeah, you will want
The
to
audio
put
quiz?
on your headphones. And let's go ahead and start with this one. Oh, by the way, the theme, these are all scary games. Right?
That's
So
good to
since we
know.
were talking about an alien game, what I did is I chose games that are known for being scary and decided to see if you could tell them apart from the soundtrack alone, which is a lot harder than you think because scary games sound alike a lot of the
Sounds
time.
really difficult.
So give this one a try.
It sounds like an eerie montage of disconnected sounds.
Is this Lone Survivor?
No.
Is this the movie Lone Survivor?
No.
That was my one guess. Who wants to jump
that
in
was
and
two
steal
guesses.
I'll throw this out for anybody. Let's see if I can come up with some kind of clue. How about if I said alcoholic?
Is it
With that-
Condemned?
It is Condemned. Good job, Sean.
it? Wait, can I guess? Condemned Criminal Origins.
Well, no, the answer is Condemned Criminal Oranges. So I'm gonna give this to Sean. Good job, Sean.
So
Good
close,
job,
Tom.
Sean. Yeah, so close.
There's two Condemned games.
You win some.
Condemned Criminal Origins and Condemned Bear.
Condemned to Bear Chase edition.
Oh, that is the best thing ever, right? That
Yeah.
bear chase. All right, let's try this one on for size. I'm peeking over in the chat to see if anybody can figure it out.
No one's gonna know this.
Kevin, you went to just like generic audiowaves.net and downloaded Eerie.
I told you this was gonna be hard.
Wave.
Eerie.wav.
I told you this was gonna be hard.
Is
Rule of the Roses.
No.
Is it Dead Space?
It is Dead Space, yes. Sean stealing again. This is going great, guys. I'm proud of you. Okay,
Dang.
Tom. I know you're a big fan of this game, so let's try this. I like the guesses from the chat though, suggesting Brat's Pony Adventures,
Those-
Barbie's Dreamhouse Party. Those are scary
You
games.
did say scary games.
Was he being sarcastic when I said I was a big fan, or
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
I'm almost
obviously.
100% sure.
So is it RE6?
No, it's not RE6, nor would I have ever included that in a quiz of scary games.
What horror game don't I like?
Horror games with awful technical.
I never said that they were necessarily horror games. I did say
You
they
said
were games
scary
known for
games.
being scary. There's a difference.
This is
Many people in the chat have already figured it out.
What
I'd
did
just
they
like to
guess?
point out.
What did they guess?
I'm not telling you. Anybody? I'll throw this out there for anybody. Anybody want to take
Give
this
us a
on?
hint. Come on.
How about a predecessor to one of Tom's favorite games ever?
Demon Souls.
No.
Super Mario Brothers 3.
No.
Ninja Blade.
No.
What's the predecessor to The Legend of Zelda?
This is System Shock 2.
Wait, hold on. Is it Get Even?
Yes.
I
Yes,
do-
good-
I-
good-
well,
way
I
to
wouldn't
go for
say-
the steal there, Sean.
I wouldn't say Bioshock's one of my favorite games ever, but it is at least on the favorite Xbox 360 games.
You really? I always thought you would say that BioShock is one of your favorite games of all time.
I don't know.
He just clarified it with the console thing.
Oh, good. Well, it's good that you're narrowing
Yeah,
it
I don't
down.
know where we're ranking the all-time 30 years I've been playing games,
Number
but I like it. It's not number 8.
Number 9.
What is
Probably
number
more
8?
like a solid 11.
Solid
spot.
11.
I'd say it's following into his 30s somewhere.
Wow, no way.
Yeah, I would guess in 30s offhand.
So I would top. Never mind.
This is a
Moving-
weird.
moving
This is
on.
going
weird
on. Moving
discussion.
on. This,
I do like BioShock.
This bit starts with a little voiceover that will probably clue you in immediately. But if not, just take a listen anyway.
My dear Alex, I will always be at your side.
Is it Eternal Darkness?
Yes!
Okay.
Yes, good job. Let's listen to it a little bit more, though, just because it's Eternal Darkness and we need to give this soundtrack some love, because it's a great soundtrack.
That game really doesn't hold up.
No. I never played it. The game was really cool.
The
That
game
game
doesn't
is-
control well.
That's one of the
That's
few
the problem why it
like,
doesn't.
scary games that I played to completion.
Really?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
loved it. I loved it.
It was intriguing.
That was my 3rd professional review ever. I gave it an 8.
Do you remember the moment where you look into the
Bargon.
bathtub
Bargon.
and see yourself?
It's like in the very beginning of the game, isn't it? Yeah.
It's near the beginning, yeah.
What's the other one? Pargon, Chaturga. Come on, chat, help me out. It's the 3rd thing.
What?
Look, someone in the chat's gonna know what I'm talking about.
What are you talking about, Chris? I don't have all day to wait for the 1 minute that it takes for the chat
Oh,
to catch
jeez.
up with
Well,
the
then-
stream to catch up with what you're saying.
That's fine. I'm talking about the 3 different like sigils in.
Oh yeah. I forgot the names of those. They're just like weird
Well, one of them is
occult
Pargon.
sounding names.
One of them is Chaturga.
All
Oh,
right.
good for you. So, Tom,
Knowledge.
this is the last one. I will give you 20 points if you can figure out what this is. But it is a name well known.
That really
a game well known for
devalues
being
all the questions.
I
scary.
don't know why you
answered
gave
so
me that
far.
clue for System Shock
I
2.
think he's
I don't have
taunting
any
you.
opinion on System Shock 2.
I know you don't, but this
he's
isn't all
taunting
about
you.
you.
This might be Rule of the Roses.
I think it's Rule of Rose. By the
Is that what
way.
it is? Rule of Rose? That game's good.
Is it Castlevania?
No.
Sounds like Castlevania, doesn't it?
Is it Friday the 13th?
No.
The JLO or what is that developer called from the NES?
No.
They made a bunch of crap.
Jaleco?
Jaleco?
I'm hoping somebody in the chat, now that hopefully the stream is caught up to us live, it's about a minute off or so.
Did anyone finish out my Chaturga Pargon trilogy?
No, nobody cared.
Terragon, Paragon, and Renegade.
But can anybody out there venture a guess as to this one? If not, I'll just throw it out there.
I have no idea.
Luigi's Mansion, Ride to Hell Retribution, more Castlevania, crappy Castlevania. One of the crappy Castlevanias he didn't play. So no, the answer to this is
The Haunting.
no. The answer
Is
is
it Fatal Frame 2?
no. The answer is
Paranormal Activity.
Wait, hold on.
I
Is
have
it-
no mouth and
is it-
I must scream.
Oh, I've never played
Is
that.
the game here?
I've heard of it.
But
I've
I
also
got,
heard of the book.
That sounds like quite a predicament.
but I got lots of. Okay, so we got Splatterhouse, Alone in the Dark, Resident Evil. Everybody was wrong, so nobody gets the 20 points. And I would have sent you $100 too. I didn't tell you that part. But if you would,
It's weird that nobody could guess that cultural touchstone game, I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream.
That was a pretty big game last year for like the, not everybody, obviously it wasn't like a huge success because it's like
So
an
when you
indie
say
game.
it was a pretty big game.
But
what
like
you
no, a
mean
lot of
was-
people were talking about it, like because it is like a game that if you played it was a very affecting game apparently. But I just never got around to it.
hooray!
No, it's not like a
Alright.
dumb game to choose.
No one's
Kevin,
saying that.
Not
you've been
necessarily.
validated by Tom. Turns out you're not a dumb guy making dumb decisions.
So yeah, see,
Good for me.
remember that on my employee review, performance review thing.
Don't.
I said you were not a
patronize
dumb
me,
guy
Jan.
making dumb decisions.
Jan just patted me on the shoulder. Don't
Hey.
do that.
Hey.
I have
You're not supposed to
personal
touch.
space
Don't
issues.
touch the Kevin.
For you, Kevin.
Thank you.
For you.
Thank you for the thumbs
Okay,
up.
so now does Sean get a quiz?
Sean,
Oh, is
it's
it-
your turn to talk about news.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask you a question.
Okay.
Maybe
here we
you'll
go.
know the answer.
All right.
GameStop. I almost said GameSpot. Even now I'm doing it.
Well, what a close one.
I know, right? GameStop's shares plummeted this week. Their price. Why? Why did that happen?
The
Oh no.
Why?
well, a dead otter was found in the office of the CEO in a compromising position. No? Oh, it was probably the PlayStation Now thing then.
Yes.
Okay.
One of those was correct.
Yeah.
Choose whichever subject you like and talk about it at length now.
I was playing Rust earlier, and
I meant of the two subjects you brought up.
no,
That was
you
not
said
clear.
choose. You said choose any subject.
Yeah.
All
So
right,
I've been playing
fine. Talk
Rust,
about Rust, and then we'll get back to
and I had to
PlayStation
hurry
now.
and log off to come on this podcast, and I had a really sweet item, which is the pickaxe, which is something that I've never had before in the game.
How
and
did you acquire it?
I walked up to a man and I said, "Excuse me, sir, I will be your mercenary. I have a rock and I know how to use it." And he said, "No, but you can have this pickaxe."
Wow.
And he gave me that. And so I had two friends with me, and I was like, "You guys, fight to the death, and the winner will get this pickaxe." And they fought to the death, and they were really bad at it. So I just killed one of them and gave the other guy the pickaxe.
It's very. I watched that happen.
Yeah.
And then and then you finished your gameplay session.
Uh-huh.
How?
Oh, I forced the winner to kill me.
Yes.
Said, do it.
I crouched
Do
down to the
it!
ground, and I said, "Now you must kill me."
And then there was the sound
can
of
only be
applause
one.
for some reason.
The sound of applause?
Yeah, I heard the sound of applause. Tom even remarked on it, I thought. Somewhere there was a sound of applause.
Yeah. So that's Rust in a nutshell. You force people to fight to the death for high-value items.
And then make them kill you.
And
That
then
might
make
be-
them kill me.
What?
That might be
That's
more
a
interesting than
weird
talking
place.
about a streaming service.
That's true.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the streaming service anyway.
Oh, yeah, PlayStation Now.
Yeah, PlayStation Now. What is that, Sean?
PlayStation Now is what came out of the Gaikai acquisition. PlayStation bought
That's the only way
Will
you
you say
can
that
pronounce
word again?
Gaikai. PlayStation Now bought Dave Perry and his company Gaikai a couple years ago. $380 million, I think. And they've been slowly working on this PlayStation streaming service where on the PlayStation 4 and the Vita and the PS3? No, is
Yes.
it PS3? Yes.
And
Bravia televisions
And?
Sony cell phones
And?
Sony tablets.
is it only Sony tablets and cell phones?
I don't
know.
think the press release clarified what internet connected
Just
devices.
mobile
PlayStation
devices.
certified
It's not-
devices. Yeah, you stream old PlayStation games. It's sort of their answer to backwards compatibility this generation.
Are they going to say Netflix?
It's their answer to Netflix this generation. The interesting thing is that you
Doesn't make
don't.
sense. Their
No,
answer
it
to
doesn't.
Netflix
It
is a
certainly
video
does
streaming
not.
service.
So here's the interesting thing: is that you don't buy games. You can either rent a game or get like a monthly subscription. And it does not seem like this is going to be part of PlayStation Plus.
And the monthly subscription doesn't include like every game. It includes like these 20 games.
Oh, really?
It's whatever they choose to be included in the
It's-
subscription.
They haven't said that the subscription is like all games.
Yeah.
So
It's whatever they choose.
By omission, it's a select amount of games.
Yeah.
Because they haven't said you could stream every game. So that just. I mean, what do you think about that? Because like, this is so like on the one hand, cool. I could like relive the classics without trying to like dust off my PS1 that's been in my parents' garage in Alabama for a few years. This is Maxwell speaking.
Yeah.
He lives in
from
Arkansas.
From
Yeah.
Arkansas. So I can just like on a Friday night, like, oh, I want to blast from the past, boom, hit it up, nostalgia. At the same time, this is what we've been seeing from Nintendo for years, is like the slow milking out of their back catalog as, basically peddling that nostalgia as an extra revenue source.
Yeah, I guess that the like being able to stream to any device means that I could be like there might be a hypothetical situation when I'm not playing Spelunky or Terraria on my Vita anymore, which I
Weird.
can't really imagine it.
Sure.
But
so
I could
maybe
then-
like 60 years from now.
And then I could be
what
like in a
dire
hotel room in
post-apocalyptic
New
scenario
York
is this?
and I could be playing whatever I want to
Name a
play.
PlayStation 2 game.
Cookies and Cream, Adventures of Cookies and Cream.
Yeah.
Also,
By myself, which would
name
be
a-
really sad.
And name a hotel that's ever had reliable internet.
Oh God.
When video games.
But you know what I'm
journalists are
saying.
staying
Like that's
there.
that's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah,
cool. I don't know. But at the same time, like I
Or
always
you're
have
playing
Vita games.
Final Fantasy whatever from the PlayStation or whatever, and then you have your saved game that goes from your
From your
Vita
Bravia
to
television.
your Bravia television to
Yeah.
your tablet to your PlayStation 3. I think that I like that. I like the continuation of cross save as a functionality. I'm really
Yeah,
glad that
that's
that
really
is
cool.
being
I-
included.
Yeah, I mean, this seems like a really cool thing that I don't know if I would need to use, but it sounds pretty awesome.
Yeah.
It's
I mean, there's no
what do you
problem
think of
with
this
it.
model compared to eShop or PlayStation 1 classics, models where you outright buy an emulation of that old game versus having them available to rent.
I mean, I prefer buying those games outright because there's no pressure to play them within a certain window of time.
Mm-hmm.
Because if I'm renting Final Fantasy Tactics, I'm like, holy shit, I need to plow through this game as quickly as I can within the rental window. Whereas if I buy that game, I can play it on my Vita a little bit here and there, put it down for a couple weeks, come back to it. It's a long game that can spread out over a lengthy period of time.
The big difference is when I got Final Fantasy War of the Lions for the Vita, I can play that anywhere. I don't have to stream it. And PlayStation Now, I'd have to
stream it. Yeah, when you're playing on your Vita,
so I can't play on the BART
to Wi-Fi
because our mass transit in the Bay Area, which is the technological hub of the world, does not have wireless fidelity.
Hey, you can get a cell phone signal at the bottom of the GD San Francisco Bay.
That's true.
It's true.
That's pretty amazing.
Isn't that part of the?
Why are you looking at me like I'm crazy?
I don't know. Well, on the southern part of the train, and when we go in the tunnels, I never get wireless.
That's because you're out in the boondocks.
3G.
Yeah, because you live out in the boonies.
Well, no, I'm talking about the other side of the bay, not my side of the bay. My
Like
side of the bay
Daly
is above
City?
ground.
You mean the airport?
Oh. What?
The San Francisco side?
The airport side.
Yes. Yes, but
The one SFO airport.
yeah, there needs to be more Wi-Fi. When is Google going to give us free Wi-Fi?
When is Google going to give us free
That was a
Wi-Fi?
thing.
Getting free Wi-Fi.
That
They
was a
will
thing.
Yeah,
as
for
soon
San
as they
Francisco.
can broadcast ads into our brains.
Oh, which will be
As soon as
very
We're
soon.
going to get
Sell
free
your private
free
information.
Wi-Fi from
Will be
Google.
very soon.
Yeah. But isn't the appeal of a subscription that you don't have to buy those outright? If you have a subscription, then should we presume that you'll always have access to those things as long as you have online access on the device?
I don't think so. Oh, I mean, if we're talking about it being a select catalog,
Do you think it's
Then-
Do you think it's gonna cycle? Like Metal Gear 5 will be this month, but not next month.
I
4.
think it probably won't be a monthly thing. But like I don't see them. I think it's very possible that they will not simply add to the catalog, but also subtract.
Is there a reason we should assume such a thing? I've looked at it as something like like On Live or something like that, where once it's there, typically it's just gonna be there. Is there any reason to suppose that they would take something away?
The only
Yeah, I mean, publisher partnerships.
See, I was gonna say
Yeah,
like
that's
licensing and publisher partnerships could strip it away, but I think like once Shadow of the Colossus goes on, it'll stay on because that's just Sony, and they don't have to worry about it.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, and I could see other publishers getting pissy.
yeah.
So in a Netflix kind of scenario where
Yeah.
partnerships don't last forever and so on. and
Nothing
so
lasts
forth.
forever.
Well, there have been other games on downloadable services that have become not available. Right?
Yeah, but they're usually because of licensing stuff, like the X-Men arcade game was pulled, like that kind of stuff, and it's like, yeah, that's whatever. We understand that, but they're not going to pull like Spelunky.
But
Just to
isn't-
reference a random
All
game.
comes back to Spelunky.
I mean,
which
and you
can play
mentioned-
on almost all those devices, anyways.
You mentioned PS Classics too, but I mean, it's not. I don't think it's viable for us to assume that they're going to try to emulate every single PlayStation game that we've ever had fondness for. So if they're not emulating these, but these are actual streaming from hardware, does it isn't it proper to assume that we'll have a much that we'll have a much wider catalog?
Oh, because
of
Nintendo
games?
individually makes them emulated, whereas if Sony's
Right.
just kind of like they could, yes, hopefully.
I mean, I think there's the hopeful bit, which is if it's PlayStation Classics, then we could be they have to emulate it, and then it might take some time, and they're just going to be doled out. But if it's coming from hardware and it's being streamed through the internet, then there's the possibility of having huge numbers of games right off the bat. Maybe I'm just being too hopeful.
I could see Sony and other publishers holding back PS3 games because that is still a viable market, more viable than the PS4 right now.
I never assumed that it would have PS3 games to start with
It will,
to begin
yeah.
with.
But I think PS1 and PS2, which are, they're kind of dead at this point, especially PS1. Like, I think those will be, you'll get tons of those
But
games.
obviously, the
I'm guessing.
PS3 games are a big push. I mean, those were the ones they were showing off at CES,
Oh, yeah.
playing on a Vita. People were playing The Last of Us, Beyond Two Souls, 2 other games that I'm forgetting right now. Sean, do you remember them? I'll take that.
Is it Get Even?
But so you're basically streaming that to your Vita, but that's that's kind of emulating something that maybe a PlayStation 3 owner who owns a copy of The Last of Us and in the future has a Vita TV could do, right? Because they can do it for
Oh
their
my
own
God.
copy, but like
There's a lot of stuff going on.
or with the PS4, like a PS4 owner can play their thing on their Vita. So now it's this whole catalog that you can stream to your Vita. I'm thinking, does this, as someone who champions the Vita, Tom, and is this another feather in the Vita's cap? I mean,
Well, yeah, it is. It's not a feather that I'm super need because I have way more.
It's a decent feather.
It's more. I have more Vita games than I could possibly play right now, so I don't really need more Vita games. But yeah, it's awesome having this. The Vita is basically the best system out there, and I'm not even exaggerating with that. Like it is.
I know you're not.
It,
Yeah, I
it's
know
and
you're
it's
not.
so.
Tom
Not any more
genuinely
than your
believes that.
normal base level
Well,
exaggeration.
the best is the PC, and then the Vita, and then everything else. So yeah, I mean, as far as Vita sales, like all Sony can do is like, hey, it's a reasonable price, and there's way more games you can ever play that are all pretty reasonably priced. But if people don't buy it, it's their own fault at this point.
So how much for a monthly subscription to PS Now?
$20.
$20.
$20 is steep.
No,
Netflix
that
is
seems a
15,
lot.
right?
Netflix
No,
is 15.
well, it depends just for streaming.
Streaming only is like $9.
Oh.
or so, $10.
9, 10, 11.
15 is like with discs.
Okay, so
Disc
I'll
and
guess
streaming.
$19.99 then. That's my guess.
That's like the cost of
I'm gonna
download
go
it.
with the $9.99.
$9.99.
Yeah, I feel like it
$9.99.
would be-
Do you think there's tiered?
Uh,
This is what a tiered symbol
it
is.
doesn't? It
A certain number of hours
I mean,
versus
if you
unlimited
have, like,
or something
the-
like that.
Yeah.
Maybe like
Different
something
plan.
like $9.99 for the monthly catalog, and then I don't know, an extra $2, and you get 1 or 2 specific rentals out of that per month. I don't know. It stands to reason.
Yeah, I mean,
think that
Netflix has tiered because it's like you get $7.99 and then you pay more for discs.
It
And
seems like
more
at
for
launch
Blu-ray.
they will do rental prices and a subscription.
Yeah.
I think that any subscription, articulation in terms of price point will probably come not at launch. But I'm thinking like the 11, 12 range.
Yeah. And I don't think they'll have that many tiers if they do go in that in that area, just because I mean, didn't Sony always, show that they messed up with so many PlayStation 3 SKUs? Nobody knew exactly what the system was and what it would do and how much space each one, because there were so many different PS3s.
I do think that PlayStation Plus members will probably get like 1 free game a month just added to that instant.
That
game
would be
collection.
pretty awesome.
If nothing else, then just like an advertisement for
Yeah.
the service.
They're good. They're
Yeah, a
good at
little
that.
cross pollination.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah,
So the
but
thing-
Sony went out of their way to say, that to not comment on whether or not PlayStation Plus would have anything to do with this.
Can I bring up a tangential thing?
Yes.
So
sure.
part of the reason this is cool is that it's like Sony is preserving the history of their systems by like you can buy these games, but then on the other hand they're like killing the servers for online multiplayer and Resistance 1 through 3 and the last Gran Turismo that didn't come out in December, whatever that one was called, 5. So it seems like this is almost a contradictory philosophy because it's like they're trying to still keep these games relevant, but then they're still killing the other games. Because it's like if they're still keeping Resistance 2 relevant by letting you rent it, why can't the server still be up so it's actually a good game
because
still?
there are substantial server maintenance fees.
I know.
It costs money to keep those servers online, whereas preserving the history with Crash Bandicoot means they make money from Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
There's a substantial difference between like paying for monthly server maintenance fees versus offering an old game in the catalog for purchase.
And it
or
also
rental.
means that, a game like Resistance 2, that multiplayer goes away. But then when that comes out on PlayStation Now, they spin up some multiplayer servers for it? Because now they're just sort of, 3 years from now, people are like, oh yeah, we might play Resistance 2 again, and then they put it into the catalog, fire it up, and maybe there's your reason why some games are there only temporarily.
they spin up
Because
servers.
they spin up multiplayer servers to support that. Because you don't want to. I mean, I guess they do. It would be weird for them to split the experience and just be like, Resistance 2 single player is now available on PlayStation Now. But I actually would not put that past them.
Yeah, I guess this whole thing is frustrating because I love the idea of preserving history, and I'm sad that like a lot of awesome games are getting killed. Like Halo 2 is just a bad game right now because the campaign is really not good in Halo 2. There's no online servers, so like that like really bums me out because I wish developers cared more about the history and more about these games that they,
But it's also, I mean, like Tom said or Sean said, there.
Oh yeah,
there's
a price
cost
involved.
and they still have these things. So maybe it's not feasible for every online game to always stay online and remain in its current state. I mean, given the current state of our infrastructure and technology and cost associated. But if you have these events where you bring back a PlayStation 2 game or a PlayStation 3 game 5-6 years from now that has multiplayer, you can revive it, and then you're concentrating people into that.
No, that
and
makes
then,
sense.
Drumming up.
This might be a way to do that.
It's like event history almost, right? Like,
Yeah.
hey, it's 3 months of The Last of Us multiplayer. Remember how you loved that? It's summer
good
of
old days.
2017.
Thanks for telling us, Sony.
We, like one way they can
We know
do
what
it.
year it is, Sony. Summer 2017.
But one thought regarding your idea of this being sort of like an archiving process, like a celebration of the past that developers don't do too well, I would suggest that an online-only service from Sony perhaps doesn't say, hey, this is because we have an interest in retaining archives and and keeping our history around. It's still an online digital solution that's by nature not permanent.
That is also by nature
So-
celebrating the history.
Yeah, I still agree it's a good thing. I just want
Yeah.
to say I don't want to get too away with suggesting that this is some kind of
This is not a
what
benevolent.
a great archive
This is
of
not a
games we
benevolent
will
thing.
now
No,
have.
but,
But I love-
an incarnation of what
Yeah.
something like that might look
Yes.
I love the virtual console, and I wish Nintendo did too. It's like clearly don't care about the virtual console, but I love that stuff, and I'm glad that Sony's giving us an option.
Yeah.
And it sounds like, what is the Microsoft one called?
What now?
Microsoft has one
Smart
also
Glass.
just coming out.
Smart Glass.
No, it's not
Oh,
Smart
Smart-
Glass. They showed it off
Prod-
at CES.
Connect.
Crash.
But
is
Microsoft
going
has one
crazy.
too, so we'll be able to play Phantom Dust again. Like I hope companies like
Clippy, the paper
don't
clip.
bury their old
Been
games.
waiting around to play Phantom Dust again. Actually,
Phantom
that
Dust-
game was awesome.
Phantom
but
Dust
not a
would-
lot of people
I'm guessing that
played
game
Phantom
aged-
Dust to begin with.
I'm guessing the game aged really well since there's nothing comparable.
I
and
just
it was...
remembered that the Fable HD or whatever comes out like at the beginning of February. Doesn't
Okay,
it?
Get
keep
hyped.
us updated on what you remember.
No,
Yeah.
you said you were talking about. Fuck you. Just I was. Yeah, anyway, let's move on.
Whoa.
So I'm a little.
Cross the line, McShay.
That is a punctuation at the end of that segment.
I'm irritable today.
I can tell.
Well, one reason I'm irritable, I thought I'd bring this up. So, and I expressed this on
Whoa.
Twitter.
This is
So,
IBS.
so a
not be about your
game
lunch.
called Outrise was announced. Okay, and the developer is calling it Shadow of the Colossus meets Left 4 Dead, even though it doesn't look or play anything like Shadow of the Colossus, but instead just has like big monsters. They're player controlled too, which
So
is
it's a
another reason.
War of the Monsters meets Left 4 Dead.
Or something. But it's like we have
King of
big
the
things in our
Monsters?
game,
No,
so
War
it's
of the
like Shadow
Monsters.
of the Colossus.
What was
so
that monster fighting game?
I was
You're
really
thinking of the old
irritated by that.
SNK one. I'm thinking of the old single track.
Sorry, Kevin.
No, it's quite all fine. I'm digressing anyway
Outrize,
because
there's giant. You're getting mad at the.
I'm getting mad at the developer
This
for bringing
plus
up
this,
Shadow of the
even though it
Colossus,
doesn't
like
check
calling
out.
out Shadow of the Colossus, when clearly that is the worst possible analogy to make because your game doesn't look, play, or have anything to do with anything that remotely resembles Shadow of the Colossus except you have big things in it.
You know how many
So
games?
there is a connection.
You know how many games have been like Shadow of the Colossus since Shadow of the Colossus came out?
A lot of them.
None.
None.
Are you talking about like actually or pimped that way?
Like actually,
None.
none.
Actually, Lord of Shadows, that was
Got
pretty similar.
close. The boss fights got close.
The boss, well, obviously just the boss fights, but just the boss fights got pretty close in Lord of Shadows.
Yeah.
But it
Barbie
was
Horse Adventures also got kind of close because you spend a lot of time on a horse.
That's true.
I've
It's
never
true.
played that game. I just made
That's
that
true.
up.
That's true lies right there.
Yeah,
But
that's
anyway,
pretty, that's pretty audacious, Kevin. You're right.
But Sean, anyway, speaking of Outrise, the other thing that irritates me is that the name seems like it comes out of like a random game name generator. Like,
Outrise?
hey, out sounds like out's a very popular prefix in game names. Rise sounds like a suffix in a game name. So
Yeah,
here's
that
our
Rise
generic
game.
sounding.
Yeah.
You
It's
would
like
say
a-
that it gave rise to other games.
Yeah.
Some other titles.
It's like
So-
action.
So that brings me to your quiz.
all right.
All right. So Sean, and you guys, you can't really steal this because this is a binary.
And we can steal it really easily.
It is.
Yeah.
Well,
Tom
you
and I
could
are
if I
just
let
gonna
you,
be our-
but I'm not letting you steal these. Instead, these are for Sean only. So what I'm gonna do is I'm I'm gonna say a name of a game.
Okay.
And you need to tell me whether it's a real name of a game or whether it's something I just made up because I got it from a random game name generator in my mind.
Okay.
Halo 2.
No. All right, here we go. You ready? So, Chronicles of Mystery.
Hold on. I'm going into my mind palace.
Okay. Is it pretty in there?
Made up.
Nope, real.
God
Is
damn
it
it,
in
mind
real?
palace.
It's real.
I told you no steals in this round.
Wait, what was the Kim
1 point for
Swift
Chris.
Ouya game? That was like
the one that I
the
was making
fjords.
fun of?
It had fjords in it.
Soul Fjord.
Soul
Yeah.
Fjords. That's a really great name.
Let's
for it.
talk about
That
Soul
one's real.
Fjord.
That one's real. I get a point.
Yes,
Was that a Sherlock reference earlier?
What?
The Mind Palace?
Yes.
Yeah.
totally. Game Party.
What the fuck? What?
Game Party. Is it
Come
a real
on,
or a fake name?
real.
That is
Yeah, it's
real.
real.
It
I
is
know that
real.
one.
The Wii.
All
It's a
right.
Wii
Yes,
game.
It is a Wii game.
Game party.
How about
we need to make a party game for the Wii. These things are selling like hotcakes. What are you going to call it?
People love games and they love parties.
What if we
What's
just-
the crossover? And then they got stoned.
They were, no.
And then
More stoned.
Yeah, and then they got more stoned. We're the best marketing execs ever.
okay? Metal Combat.
Real.
that's
Tough
real.
That's real.
Isn't that
yes.
Game Arts?
Yeah, it's real. No, that's a thing. That's a thing.
It's not Game
Metal
Arts?
Combat.
I don't know what it is.
I like how I go,
Robots.
isn't that Game Arts? And he goes, no, that's real.
I thought you were saying something else.
Wait, who's the
never watched
developer
Game
that
Art.
rips off people exclusively? So they make like a modern combat iOS game that's just junk.
That's Gree.
No, this is older.
Gree?
They make a Transmorphers game.
Transmorphers. Oh, I love Transmorphers.
All right, Sean, how about this one?
Okay.
Race Kick.
Race kick.
Mm-hmm. One word.
Fake.
Not intercapped.
Fake.
It is fake. I
Yes.
made that one up.
Did
that-
you check iOS games? 'Cause
I totally ran these all through Google before the ones I made up. I
What
ran
comes
through
up when you
Google.
type race kick? Because
And
I bet
let
it's
me
not
tell
good.
you, I
I
had
bet
come
it's
up.
about sprinting.
So I had come up with the idea of using thunder as a prefix,
Okay.
and then tried to come up with as many like random words that would go along with thunder. Almost everything had some kind of match. It was either a game match or a novel match.
What about
or something or a product? That
what about
matched.
Thunder?
I was just gonna suggest that. Man, I hadn't thought about that.
Thunder.
Or Out Thunder Rise?
Thunder Rise. Rise of Thunder.
Because I
Out Thunder.
because I was like
Calling out Thunder.
Thunder Fist, and oh, there's a match for that, and so I just gave up on Thunder completely. Okay, how about this one, Sean?
Okay.
Super Army War.
Real.
It is real.
Yeah.
Yes.
I love that game. I play it all the time on my Neo Geo.
Can I?
I'm pretty sure it's a Wonder Swan game.
I play it all the time on my Wonder Swan.
Can I throw a new rule out in here?
Okay.
If Sean gets it wrong and it's a real game, he has to review it.
Okay.
Okay.
Done and done. What's the next one, Kevin?
Super Army guy. Wait, Super Army
If he
War?
gets it wrong and it's a fake game, he has to give us the box description of it.
Yes.
Okay. How about Raiders: The Reckoning?
Real.
No, that's fake. I made that
Oh,
one.
no.
So what is Raiders: The Reckoning about, Sean?
Raiders: The Reckoning is a visual novel about the 1973 Oakland Raiders. It goes into detail about John Madden's illicit love affair with the punter and how it was a love that never could be. And Al Davis came down and did a reckoning on it.
Wow.
Yeah. That's Raiders: The Reckoning.
That is a visual novel indeed.
You've certainly
I'm
painted
playing
a
that.
picture.
Yep.
All right. How about Conflict Denied Ops?
I know for a fact that's a real game.
It is a real game.
Totally
Yes.
real.
Yes.
Yep.
Why did we all know that? What is that
'Cause
on?
it's a recent game.
It's a fairly recent
Because of
game.
marketing.
Conflict Denied Ops.
Because the marketing team did their job. Good.
Wait, what was Conflict Denied Ops?
I thought it was a PC thing, a shooter.
It's like a
PC
squad
shooter,
based.
squad shooter.
Was it
yeah,
a
squad
squad
shooter type thing. But I'm just making that up. I don't know.
sounds
I'm
like
just
a
going by the
SOCOM.
title
Had,
alone.
like,
It sounds like a
black
PC
and white
squad shooter.
Game art with like white background and black silhouette. Sold
If you're in the
Denied
Twitch chat and you're a big fan of Conflict Denied Ops, set us straight on exactly
Yeah.
what that is.
Send us
CDO.
700 words on why Conflict Denied Ops is the best game ever.
Okay. Oh yeah, them.
That's
yeah.
a lot.
Yeah.
How about Swords?
Of course, Swords is a real game.
Yes, it is a real game. It is a real game.
What
On
is
what
it?
system do you suppose it's on?
What system?
Yes.
Neo Geo.
Atari?
No, it's on the Wii.
Is
As
it on the
as
Wii?
As it turns out, yes.
Are you sure it's not S words?
No, it's swords. Or depending on who you are, you could pronounce that W. Is that annoying to anybody, by the way?
Swords?
Swords. Have you ever heard anybody say
Swords?
swords?
That's how.
Sounds like you're saying a different word.
I was gonna say Audrey Hepburn. Who's the first Sean Connery? That's how he says it.
George.
Or am I just saying that because of the SNL Celebrity
Yes.
Jeopardy
You're
sketch?
saying that entirely because of the SNL sketch.
In what memory structure are you? Does the phrase "I was gonna say Audrey Hepburn, but it's Sean Connery" makes sense?
You don't want to know what goes on in Tom McShay's mind palace.
Really, I do fanfic.
Yeah. Mental fan
It's
fiction.
just free association up there, 24/7.
Oh man.
All right, one last one for you, Sean.
Okay.
Gunzone.
Wait, Gunzo?
Gunzon, not Gunzo. Gunzone.
Gunzo for Gunzo.
I like Gunzo being aimed at kids, even though it's like clearly ultra violent and
Just a
stuff.
Muppet with a freaking barrel for a nose.
I'm gonna go with fake.
Fake?
Yeah.
Kids.
You're right. It
It's
is fake.
Gunzo. Everyone's
I do have a back of the box blurb ready
Please
for
tell
it.
us. Tell us what Gunzone
Gunzone
is.
a violent revenge story about a calzone that was wronged. And it's basically like a Charles Bronson kind of movie. Where
Is
he
this
just,
it's still back in the box?
yeah.
It's kind of a rambling back in the box.
It's basically like a Charles Bronson kind of get even movie, you know?
Get even.
And he just runs around shooting stuff with guns. And he's also a calzone. I don't know if I made that clear. He's a gun zone.
That's the important part. Is
Whereas
the calzone
Gunzo is
part.
just one of those mascot shooters that
Yeah.
features the Remington corporate mascot jumping through platforms and shooting evil people holding up peace signs.
Hey
Oh,
kids, I'm
God.
Gunzo. Ask your parents for me.
All right, so thank you, Sean. That was
welcome.
that was enlightening as always.
Gunzone.
I know a lot more about your brain than when we started. Chris,
Yes, hello.
hi. You're here for the Viscera cleanup. These are the stories that didn't have any real connection. I actually skipped something I was going to talk about with
The
Sean.
Viscera
but-
cleanup?
You see they're just leaking through my hands. I can't
Viscera
barely
cleanup
hold them
detail?
together.
We're gonna
Yeah,
talk
that's
about that
actually a game. The what's the game with all the dick jokes? They did like a Viscera cleanup.
Leisure Suit Larry.
No. The one that I did the gun show
Bulletstorm.
for. I forget the Shadow
Lo
Warrior.
Wang.
Age
There was
of-
a Viscera cleanup
Age of
Shadow
Wushu.
Warrior game where you basically go in in all the environments where you left all the blood and then you just hoover it all up.
There is actually a hoovering game in Postal 3. But I won't tell you what you're hoovering because that game is gross.
I know what you're talking about because I
Is it-
played
is
that
it
game
poop?
too.
Is it poop?
It was an awful.
You only
Oh
wish.
no. Yeah.
Please
Yeah.
continue with the news. And I'm sorry I mentioned Postal 3.
Yeah, it's quite all right. So let's talk about the cleanup. So there was a game that has sold 1 million copies, but the game isn't even finished yet. What game am I talking about?
Starbound.
Yes,
Starhound. The story of a
Starbound.
dog that goes into space. That's all I got.
That's
Starhound.
yeah. Chris, what is this
Starbows,
game?
An intergalactic weapons fighter where you clash against. No, Starbound is the sequel to. It's like a spiritual successor to Terraria Bowl.
One dude who made Terraria, the artist, has now formed a studio called Chucklefish, who is working on Starbound.
So it's a spiritual successor to Terraria, where basically you go around and whack the earth and go down into some real dark parts until you get poisoned by water and die.
That game is so
That
good.
is true. That is an accurate
game is-
depiction of the
More-
first
more
few hours.
succinctly, you dig a hole and die in it.
Yeah, that's the Justin Calvert way.
Yeah.
So that game, in its current state, which is its first phase of 3 for beta, is already better than most complete games. And I mean, like, better than 99% of all
Are
finished
you
games.
stuck on one planet in that, or do you
No!
actually get to go to the
No,
stars?
You get to
move
go
around.
everywhere.
Like in the current incarnation of it.
In the current incarnation, there are tier 1 through tier 4 planets, and you have to become more powerful to get to the different planets. As far as, like, the different tiers.
Has anyone in the office gotten powerful enough to go to a different planet? yet?
Lark Anderson has.
Oh.
But yeah, it's already more feature-rich and more interesting and more awesome than other complete games. It's kind of crazy how good Starbound is.
So I didn't play Terraria, and I didn't. So
That's
I don't.
a fault of your personal.
See, that-
It
now
is-
that
it
is
a
one of my
fault.
favorite
It is a
games
fault.
ever.
And I hadn't played Terraria, so I decided rather than play Terraria, now that Starbound is here, I'll just play Starbound.
Why not?
And I spent my Wednesday night was spent in front of the computer for 4 hours digging this really expansive kind of anthill of a home for myself all under the earth. And then I had enough stuff where I was like, I have a bed, and I was making doors, and I had like, here's the door to my room, and there's my bedroom in there. And it's weirdly, I know Tom doesn't like the word
cozy.
addictive, but
Oh God, don't use that word.
you know, it's weirdly compelling how just digging, you know, all these mazes under the earth, and then a meteorite falls right on top of my little home, and like the upper tiers were all crushed, and I had to go back and like build it all. Thankfully I had all this earth that I could use to do it. And then I was so upset about that. And then I'm going out further and further and then I come across this monster, and it's just like, there's so much, like everything individually is kind of simple. Like it's a relatively simple from moment to moment game, but all together it comes into this just weirdly, it's relaxing, but at the same time tense. Does any of this make sense?
And
How
it's
something can be relaxing
creative, and
tense
it's
at the
all
same
about
time?
exploration and discovery. Like it hits so many of what I like so many of the this is what I like to play games. Like that's what it is. And it has like amazing way the multiplayer is integrated, where like the planets are randomly generated, but the universe is not. So I could be like, hey Kevin, come to this planet, and you can come to my planet, and then you can help me or steal my stuff or whatever you want to do. But it's an amazing. I can't believe that this is a thing, and I'm super pumped that it's sold well.
Yeah.
It's like so many times
Yeah.
great games don't sell well, and this game is. They've already made
And
like $15 million plus already.
And I feel like it's actually a reminder of how much I missed out when I didn't play Terraria.
Yes.
And it always makes me sad when there are like major games that I just don't get to or don't finish for whatever reason. Because we always have those games, right? Where it's like, I always wanted to play this and I never just got to it. But I'm really glad, because I sat in that live stream we did with you when you were like in the first hour of the game.
Very beginning.
But my first hour of the game was rather different. Like I had different stuff to start with, and
You played an Avion.
I played an Avian, yeah.
Can you play that game with a controller?
Nope.
I want to play it
Yeah.
on my TV.
You got the mouse and keyboard is the best way, though. I'm really impressed with the way they put the Vita version of Terraria. Like it controls really
Guys,
well.
is there going to be a Spelunky live stream today?
Nope.
I feel bad because we're like covering up that time.
Yeah, we already told them we're not doing it.
Okay. So sorry if we
I mean,
if we
Kevin,
disappointed anybody, but that came up in the chat just now. And I want to
Kevin.
make sure there wasn't.
don't worry, I will play Spelunky today. Okay.
I thank God
In
for
my
that,
life,
Chris.
I will play it.
It'll
Don't worry,
happen.
folks. I'm in the middle of a pretty decent.
So yeah, if you haven't played Starbound, you should play it, because it's really.
What if I have the choice between Starbound and Terraria on the Vita?
I can't make that choice.
Starbound is still a ways off, though.
Starbound won't be complete for a long time.
And they're not going to sell on the Vita till it's complete, right? There's no
Yes.
early access program for Vita.
He's talking about Terraria versus Starbound.
Oh.
Yeah.
I mean, Terraria is really one of my favorite games ever. Like it's like in a short list of this is
I
one
would
of
think
my favorite.
Terraria would be the answer.
So I
to
can't
this,
I
right?
can never steer you away from one of my favorite games ever.
Wait for Starbound.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah, thanks.
there you go.
Yeah.
Sorry about the Twitter lies, by the way. Apparently, Twitter said that we'd be doing Spelunky today, so
Did they delete that?
I don't know. I don't know anything. I'm just the messenger, and I'm
Yes.
apologizing on behalf of everybody that works, will work, or has ever worked at GameSpot, for that clear oversight.
Way to cover the bases, Kevin.
Yeah, thanks. So
So can you go back in time and play Terraria so it can be nominated for one of our top 10 games, which is crazy that it wasn't.
somehow you managed to do that
only gave
for
that game an
Spelunky this
8.5 when it came
last
out.
year.
Yeah,
guys,
whatever.
So
I gave an 8 to Last of Us, and that game was nominated still.
That's true.
Yeah, it's still kind of weird to me. I mean, I don't like Minecraft, and neither Minecraft
I
or
think you and
Terraria
I-
was recognized.
You and I were the only people in the office who
And
really
Lark
got
Anderson.
into Terraria that year.
And Lark.
And Lark.
Yeah.
yeah.
But I mean, that game is it's so special, like, because it's so much more than just like you dig and you build stuff. Like it's just the flow and the pacing and just everything is just.
You could build a elevator.
I love build. You get a trophy for that in the Vita version.
Here's my question about a elevator.
Yeah.
Does
Okay.
it go both ways?
No,
No.
Then
Once
it's
you're
really
in
a
hell,
misnomer.
you're always in hell.
It's more of a hell pit.
it's basically just a hole.
It's a straight.
It's a
pit to
really
hell.
it's a really deep hole.
All right, that's fine.
It's a elevator.
So
Elevator goes 2 directions.
Not
like-
if it's a broken elevator.
So Starbound has mods supporting, and some dude made a mod that lets you use a zip line across so you can travel really quickly. And now that's like integrated into the game proper because the dude who makes the game thought it was amazing.
Was like, sweet.
So like,
Well,
yeah,
that's
it's a
pretty
real
tight.
like community game, and I think this is gonna fix some of the problems with Terraria that like fast travel didn't exist.
So Chris, if it helps, the Twitch chat says so. So Ricky Guitarist and Amish War Machine both suggest that Starbound has everything that makes Terraria great, plus a lot more.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of Lark Anderson's idea right now. That's what he's been pitching.
Good sell.
And it's
But-
also so incomplete, which is crazy because they're going to add stuff, and it's already ridiculously good.
Well, Super Mega Loser says that he thinks it still feels really incomplete. So
Oh.
for whatever it's worth,
Huh.
there are differing
Wonder how many
ideas
hours he
about-
played, because I could see once you play like 30 hours, maybe there's no more content or something. I could see that.
There could be a ceiling after a while.
Yeah.
That's true. Sometimes there are
Man.
ceilings.
I really wish that there was early access Vita games so I could play this on my Vita.
Chris,
Kevin.
so I've decided. It's funny, I skipped over a bunch of news today just because
That's fine.
we're going so far into things. So I've decided it's time to bring back ESRB rating subscription theater.
Yay.
But just for Chris?
But just for Chris.
Just for Chris?
But if he doesn't get it,
Whoa.
you guys will be able to steal.
Who has to read it to him?
All right, so I'm going to do the reading. So what I'm going to do for those that are new to GameSpot gameplay and haven't heard this before, I am going to read a description from the ESRB of a game, and these are all games that have yet to be released.
Oh.
So just to be clear that these are games that are not yet out. And so clearly they're going to be coming out sometime soon, right? They're all M-rated. And I'm going to read the description. Chris, you need to tell me what these games are, but if you don't get it, it becomes a free-for-all, and then the first person to get it after that gets it. I'll give you 30 seconds on each after I finish. You ready? Let's do it. All right, let's do it. During the course of the game, female characters sometimes appear topless. One scene depicts women auctioned off to a room full of male buyers. In another scene, sexual moaning sounds can be heard behind walls. The central character is sometimes depicted drinking alcohol. After each, I love that that's
Yeah,
like
that's not quite as.
there
Don't
are
shield your
women
kids.
being sold. Also, alcohol.
Yeah.
After each shot, players are prompted to steady the blurred vision and balance. In a few instances, characters are described as addicted to narcotics or convicted of drug trafficking. The words "fuck," "shit," and "asshole" can be heard in the dialogue.
Was that 2 words or 3 words?
Three
Fuck,
words? Fuck,
Is it-
shit, and asshole.
Wait, is there
This
an
is-
Oxford comma? Is it fuck, shit, and asshole, or is it fuck,
No,
shit,
it's
comma,
fuck,
and
comma,
asshole?
shit, comma, and asshole. Well,
Okay.
to be clear, it's
You
F
really-
asterisk asterisk
I just
K
want. This is gonna help Chris.
SH asterisk T.
This is the worst.
Kind. You
And
are
So
A asterisk SHOLE. So the words could be fork, shot, and arshole. Maybe.
Arshole is pretty
I'm just-
popular in games.
I'm
these days.
guessing though that they're fuck, shit, and asshole. Okay. What, Chris?
Chris is asking
Get
you
an
to
idea.
wrap it up. Chris already knows
I'm
what
trying
this
to-
is.
What?
And it is.
What?
Oh, I'm gonna guess The Witcher 3: Assassins of King. Or
No.
Witcher 3: The
No,
Wild
they
Hunt.
don't say fuck. They say plow in that.
They
game.
say plow. They do
That's
say
true.
fuck too.
Oh my
They do
God.
They say
sometimes
both.
say
Can we
fuck.
like
say
clean
both.
this up a little bit?
So do
I'm gonna guess
Tom-
Watch Dogs.
Watch Dogs is the
Would I
answer.
get one guess?
Yeah, because you
Yes.
were wrong.
No,
this is
I
like
thought I
school.
could guess multiple times.
Watch Dogs is the answer.
Watch
Tom
Dogs is the
steals the
answer.
point.
Watch Dogs? Is that what you said?
Watch dongs.
Watch Dongs.
Next.
All right, Chris.
I like
give
that
us
I
a-
just said clean it up and then I made that joke, which has never been made before, as far as I know.
No one in this office has ever said watch dongs.
Are you being sarcastic?
No.
Are you being sarcastic when you said that?
Yes.
Oh my God.
All right, here you go, Chris. That's the wrong one. Players infiltrate various bases and use pistols, machine guns, and rocket launchers to kill enemy soldiers. Firefights are highlighted by realistic gunfire, slow motion effects, and large blood splatter effects. Players can also employ stealth attacks and have the ability to kill non-adversary characters and prisoners. One cutscene includes a depiction of blood and gore, e.g., a character's intestines exposed during a dramatic procedure to remove an object. I don't know what that object is.
Titanfall.
Nope. Throwing this out there for everybody else.
Thief 4?
No.
Of Gods and Men?
Sean?
Is it Battlefield?
No. So nobody got it, but I'm going to read something else that came from it that probably will clue you in.
Okay.
Alrighty.
The game includes an audio file in which a female character is sexually assaulted by male characters. While there
Tomb
is
Raider.
no visual depiction, sounds of
is it
ripped
BioShock
clothing and
Infinite?
struggle can be heard.
It's a BioShock Infinite.
It is
No, the
Tomb
answer
Raider,
is-
whatever that game's called.
This is Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
Which is, I think, only the third game ever to be called out for sexual violence in its ESRB full description.
Is Tomb Raider? Or is that because it was just implied violence?
This is, yeah.
Like, or he wanted to and then was interrupted.
This is actually hearing sexual violence.
I didn't play that
and
game enough because the camera was busted, but that sounds not fun.
You mean Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes?
Yes. Oh, I thought it was Revengeance.
No. This is Ground
Oh.
Zeroes, not Revengeance.
Hasn't come out yet.
So Ground Zero, when does that come out?
In
the
March
future.
or February? It's either February or
I
March.
didn't know that was
It's
so soon.
Yeah.
Can I have a free copy?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I'll allow
But
it.
clearly
You
the
didn't
description,
even say please, but
I'm
we'll
just
give it
asking.
to you.
Just like randomly going to ask for free stuff.
maybe we'll talk about it in a future episode, but the
Oh,
bit
I'm not
about
getting a free
sexual-
copy.
No, about the sexual violence in Metal Gear Solid
Yeah, that
Ground
sounds.
Zeroes. That has definitely been a subject of contention on my Twitter feed, and probably for good reason. It's not as though we
What
can
is the-
expect
I don't know.
Kojima
I don't wanna know.
to approach any subject with any kind of tact or
Subtlety?
or grace or subtlety. Yes, so
He is not Audrey Hepburn.
Or Sean Connery. Although there's a very slim difference between the two.
thank you
So it's kind of, you didn't really have to point that out.
Yeah.
for
Well, I
that.
mean,
It's kind of implied.
It's implied.
It's implied. It
It's
goes with
implied.
All right, let's try this one.
So,
Chris. Characters are occasionally depicted nude, e.g. breasts, buttocks, male genitalia. One extended sequence depicts an out-of-focus couple having sex in the background. As players engage in battle in the foreground, sexual moaning sounds and dialogue is heard. During the course of the game, drug paraphernalia can be seen strewn around a methamphetamine lab. The words fuck, shit, asshole, and faggot can be heard in the dialogue. What game is this?
wait, hold on. Are these released or upcoming?
These are all
Upcoming.
unreleased games.
Oh, okay. I missed
Yes.
that detail earlier.
Yes, these are all unreleased games.
I have no idea with this one. Is it coming out in March?
I don't know.
Is it?
I'm not gonna say. I guess
Well,
I
it's
exactly
probably
what's coming out, but
either.
I don't know. Honestly, I don't.
Smash Brothers for the Wii U or 3DS, but I'm not sure which one.
That's a good guess.
Yeah.
That's not coming out in March.
But
summer game.
no, it's not
Yeah.
Smash Brothers.
When Mario does his dong attack at Luigi and she tries to use his meth pipes,
yeah.
crazy.
So how come they list certain naked body parts but then say male genitalia?
I don't know.
What I think
I mean,
the
it's all-
genitalia is
Could
they
it
don't get
just-
that specific on the reproductive organs.
Okay.
Yeah.
But the other stuff they do.
I mean, and
Seems
when
like.
do you ever see one but not the other?
Yeah, I think they're trying to just
You would have
condense,
to be-
right? They would use more letters to
You
say
have to be
penis
really
and
deliberate
testicles.
in a game if
What
you're
about
going to show
Infamous?
the twig but not the berries.
That's a more serious guess.
No,
I don't know.
no.
Wait, hold on.
I don't know.
Anybody else want to take a guess
wait.
as to what this
See what
is?
it's talking about.
Wait. I got nothing.
No,
Is it
Bravely
wait,
Default?
Is it Bravely Default?
it is
Is it-
not Bravely Default.
Is it Get Even?
Is it Get Even?
No, it is not Get Even. The answer,
Is it Titanfall?
no, it's not Titanfall. The answer is South Park: The Stick of Truth.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
Sure.
I forgot that game's still coming out.
yeah.
Yes.
I thought the lady called
Surprised.
canceled. It's weird that I'm so uninterested because I do like South Park and I love Obsidian, but I
Yeah.
don't care about this game.
You
back
will,
to
Tom.
back to the genitalia conversation.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got something more to add, Sean?
No.
We
No.
were
I'm just
actually
saying,
discussing.
Because Tom was asking why they mentioned genitalia, but
We
not
should
the
just-
specific part. And I'm just saying, when do you see one but not the other?
Didn't we walk into a meeting room earlier this week and on the whiteboard it said like Sean's dick or
Oh,
something
yeah.
like that? What was up with that? I forget.
I don't want to
what
shatter
story
the
was.
illusion,
We
Kevin.
had a brainstorming session.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. It included Sean's dick for some
It's
reason.
just
I don't
like
know.
a really critical 2014 roadmap. Don't
yeah,
worry about
still
it.
at a pretty nascent
Okay.
stage.
Yeah.
Kind of like Sean's
Okay, well, that's good. Oh dear God.
What is?
This has gone downhill.
Go next.
One more,
Next
Chris.
one.
One more for you.
Oh God, I hope I get this
Stop.
one.
Stop. Change the subject.
Who pronounces it nascent?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Yeah, good
That was
comeback.
nascent?
Nailed.
Nascent.
Nascent.
Wow.
Nascent.
Anyway,
Nascent.
NASCAR.
yes, players use lasers, machine guns, turrets,
So
and
do you
rocket
mean
launchers to what?
That was a joke about Chris's weird pronunciation of nascent.
God.
We're gonna.
Why did we record this end of day Friday?
Kevin, can you do that thing where we go to dictionary.com and press the pronunciation?
Yes,
thing?
absolutely, I can.
Yeah,
All
this-
right.
we're gonna settle this.
Okay.
I say
one for all.
nascent.
I say nascent.
I say
But I'm not
nascent.
from Nashua, New
Keep
Hampshire.
talking.
I am.
So-
I
We'll
am
be
from
done
Na-
soon.
No, I'm not.
Jan,
Are
I
you?
promise we're done soon. This is getting
Go, Kevin.
crazy.
Tell us whether it's pronounced roof
This is
or
an
roof.
important conflict.
Rough.
Okay,
Roof.
are we ready?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, you have to put headphones on to hear it for yourselves, though.
Okay.
So put your headphones on, and here we go.
Nascent.
Suck it.
Nascent.
It's still nascent.
Nascent.
Yeah.
Okay,
Nascent.
well, we got that out of the
I
way.
get a
think
point
we-
for that, right?
Yes, I'll give you a point for that. I will actually give you a point for that
I've
because
never
you're
heard nascent.
you're really behind in the scoring, I'm afraid, Chris. Yeah, I've got it right.
What
will
do
in
the
front of
take
me.
people
pity
in the
points.
Twitch chat think about the argument between nascent and nascent? Because
It's
I
over.
trust them. I don't trust Chris
Or dictionary.com.
at all.
You agreed.
Yeah, Jan's
to that
getting-
arbiter of that. Of
Hey,
that
Kevin.
conflict.
Kevin, have some control here. Just
Read the last one.
read the last one.
All right, last one. Players use lasers, machine guns, turrets, and rocket launchers to destroy alien robots, spacecraft, and creatures. Players can also use jetpacks, tanks, and helicopters to fight enemies in frenetic combat. Battles are accompanied by realistic gunfire and large explosions. Large splashes of red blood frequently appear when creatures are hit and when human characters are attacked.
Titanfall.
No,
Destiny
no,
sounds like a game that I would really enjoy.
Destiny is way too far in the future to be ESRB rated.
yeah.
Think so? Yeah, probably.
Yeah, it's only going to be like
I was
February,
actually
March.
surprised Watch Dogs was
Because it was
on that
supposed to
list.
come out.
Wait, when's
Yeah.
Watch Dogs coming out? Isn't it March?
Aliens.
Well, I think it's supposed to be March or
What is it?
April,
A game with aliens in it.
but
coming out.
then
Is it
I-
Earth Defense Force?
it is. Yes, Tom gets the
Whoa.
point.
Really? There's a
Yeah.
new Earth Defense Force
2025. It's made by
2025
Sandlot.
comes out this month. Who
which
knew?
is the real developer, not the developer that did Infestation.
game? I did not know that.
Yeah. So
It's very
guys,
similar to the other one.
so guys, I wanted to say thank you first of all. So this brings us to the end of the show, but I want to make sure people know how they can partake in the insanity that is GameSpot gameplay from hopefully now back on form week to week, Fridays at 3. That's
If you
the
call this show back on form, which
Debatable.
debatable.
debatable. Well, it's a form,
Sorry,
Let's
and
debate
we're back.
That. Let's debate
It's
that next
debatable.
week.
We're back in a form, in a video form. And if you like it, we're trying to do this, 3 p.m. on Fridays thing. So even better, follow us on Twitter. So the official Twitter account is GameSpot Gplay, because not all of the things fit. It's hard to describe. You can follow Tom at Tom McShay, follow Chris at CT Waters, and follow Sean at S McInnes. I'm going to spell that because nobody ever gets
It's
it right.
S as in Sean and then McInnes as in my last name.
Oh, well, that clarifies it.
Did you know that Chris's middle name, T, is Topher? So it's Christopher Topher Waters.
It has a nice ring to it.
It does have a nice ring to it. And Fiddle Cub is me. And you should also subscribe to GameSpot Gameplay through your favorite podcast software like iTunes or whatever it is you use, like your RSS feed. And that's easy to find. Almost any podcast player will find GameSpot Gameplay just fine. And I have to announce a winner. We do have a winner this week, and the winner is Sean McInnes, so we should all applaud
Thank you,
Sean.
Kevin.
Congratulations, Sean, for being this week's winner of GameSpot Gameplay.
Hold on.
You're
Now, do I get to spend 17 minutes talking about the subject of my choice? Because
No.
it's going to be Rust again.
Your point total is by far higher than everybody else's. So congratulations. And your prize for winning is to tell us what your New Year's gaming resolution is. But before you do that,
Gotta think of one, don't you?
let me thank everybody for being here. Thank you, Chris Waters, for
Thanks,
being
Kevin.
here from beginning to end.
Oh, yeah.
Appreciate it.
100% of this podcast, which I was a part of, was great.
Yes. And Tom McShay, thank you.
There was definitely parts that you would agree were not great.
Yeah.
And-
Thank you, Kevin.
Of course. And of course, thank you, Sean McInnes.
Thank you, Kevin.
for being here. And why don't you go ahead and tell us what your gaming resolution is.
My 2014 gaming resolution is to not force people to fight to the death in Rust, and I already broke it. Today. I made people fight to the death.
It's not even like 2 weeks.
Yeah,
in
I know. I did not
2014,
last
man.
very long at all.
Jeez.
Yep.
That's it?
Yeah, that's it.
That's all you got for us.
That's all I got.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for out there in the audience. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to Jan for making this easy.
Yeah.
And we will see you next week for episode 60 of GameSpot Gameplay.